I think it's so important that we begin to open up these conversations around all of the issues that we're discussing in this series so that we can stop invalidating the experiential reality of our marginalized students and our marginalized colleagues. We have to have these difficult conversations so that we can make change, and stopping microinvalidations is one of the ways that we can do that.
Thank you very much, Jody and Chris, for talking through the microinsults and microinvalidations. The third item in this taxonomy that Dr. Dale Wing Su discussed was microassaults. And oftentimes we see the microassaults as very conscious components. And while you can certainly read the definition for yourself, the two words that I want you to focus on here is conscious and intentional biased beliefs or actions. Microassaults are usually very conscious acts. And one particular example that I want to share with you is one when I was a very, very young student. And in this particular example, I was riding my bicycle around town, around our neighborhood with my brothers, and we came across another student who was at our school too as well, and he was outside. And as we began getting closer, he pulled out his garden hose, which was right outside his front yard, and started spraying the garden hose at us. And as he was spraying the garden hose directly at us, he was making expletives at us. And he specifically said, and I always will remember this, he specifically said to me and my brothers, get away from us, you dirty effing expletive. And in that space of where the expletive was, he used a racial insult that specifically referred to Asian and Asian Americans. And so that's very specific and very conscious, is very intentional act of racism in that particular context. Other acts could include things such as homophobia or sexism or other types of isms that you may see or may observe or may hear about too as well. I think that the important component, however, here is that while microassault is very intentional, very visible oftentimes, and may align with policies or that are embedded within your expectations of students in the classroom or outside the classroom or during activities, oftentimes when you see a microassault happening, it may also be laden with other micro insults, micro invalidations. And so while we present these three as three very specific types as a taxonomy of microaggressions, oftentimes it's maybe a little bit more complicated, and you may be able to see components of each of these three in those. Especially if you see microassaults, you oftentimes will see micro insults and micro invalidations embedded in there too as well. What we have next in the next slide is another video titled "Stuff That Homophobics Say," as an example of microassaults that we see in popular culture and in the news.